Hey, yo, Josh, let me get a little bit of reverb. Yeah. J. Will. Yeah, I'm about that lifestyle. I talk green work, repping it all over. It's right on the t-shirt. Fan for a lifetime. Yeah, that's a long pass. Figure I would show some love right on the podcast. Turn this up loud and make sure you don't do nothing else. Cause if you're listening to us, then you're improving your health. My name is J. Will. Welcome to the show, yeah. Wrestle, flow, 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 yeah.
Welcome to the Wrestlemania edition of Wrestling Reverb here on the Josh Robertson 00 network. Kevin, it's I guess it's Wrestlemania weekend. Technically,
it is the least feeling Wrestlemania weekend I've ever had, and I'm sure everyone is saying that. Mm-hmm. But it is Wrestlemania, coming up in just 48 hours or so. It's Thursday evening here, so Saturday evening. 48 hours.
It's very diluted, isn't it? It's just very I don't know. Maybe I'll just I don't know. Usually by WrestleMania week, obviously I understand the times are a little bit different, but take it from last year and it's just like, okay, like you start to get that smile every time you think about it and you watch things on YouTube to get yourself ready and on the WWE network and you're like, all right, it's WrestleMania time. There's usually a lot of stuff on Twitter going around, and it's just like a very busy, great time. And this year, it's just very, maybe it would be more so. Who knows? Maybe when we turn on WrestleMania in a couple of days, it might feel a little bit different, and we might be like, all right, this is still Mania. But every time I watch something, Kev, it's just like I watch an old Mania, I watch a clip of an old Mania, I'm like, oh, it's just not going to be that this year because it's not a stadium. There's no crowd.
I know, we're not going to be watching 80,000 screaming fans going crazy for these matches. We're going to be watching nobody go crazy for these matches.
I know.
We're going to have to make up a lot of the fan element ourselves.
Yeah, honestly, and it's like WrestleMania is bigger than wrestling to me. It almost is like not that I don't care what happens in the ring. Of course I care, but it's like I like the spectacle of Mania. That's what gets me into Mania. It's the entrances, the lights, the crowd, the atmosphere, the aesthetic is more so better than the actual substance.
And this is our one time a year where like wrestling is the talk of the town. Like I'll talk to like literally people that never watch wrestling. They're like, "Oh, WrestleMania is coming up." Yeah. They might tune in. They'll know what's going on. They'll be apprised of what's going on at the very least. Not this year because I'm sure most people just assume it's canceled because why wouldn't it be?
It's like WrestleMania is so about what happens inside the ring this year. It's not about the appeal and the aesthetic of it, which is the complete opposite of why I love WrestleMania. And usually by now, I've texted my friends. I've got my WrestleMania party already. It's breakfast time here, so we usually organize like a big barbecue breakfast. And I can't have that this year because of social distancing. I can't have people in my home.
Flatten that curve.
It's weird. And again, this is completely out of WWE's hands. This isn't me shitting on WWE at all. It's obviously not their fault. And I know that I was like waving that banner of I'd rather a WrestleMania than no WrestleMania. But now that it's actually here, I don't know if I would prefer just either can it for the year and just whatever, or it's hard to postpone it. It doesn't just work like that, I don't think.
Yeah. The logistics of it, obviously, it's not like you could just say, "Oh, we'll move it to another huge stadium sometime later." I'm happy that we're getting WrestleMania at the same time. I feel like where I'm like, I don't know, maybe they should just can it. Mm-hmm. For the competitors' safety. Obviously, we've seen Roman Reigns drop out due to his health issues. Yeah, we've seen other, there are rumors that other superstars did the same. We might want to look at it like that, like should we be putting these competitors in a position where they could be putting themselves at risk?
Yeah, it is. Health comes first. At the end of the day, we're watching a scripted television show, and that at the end of the day is not real life, and it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of life. So health should always come first. Now, everyone knows it's common knowledge at this point. WrestleMania was taped last week. I have no issue with that. We talked about that briefly last week, Kevin, I believe. I don't have an issue with WrestleMania being taped in these circumstances. I'm not a spoiler guy. I haven't been actively going and searching for spoilers. And people, for the most part, have been pretty respectful about, even if they do find something out, they're not posting it all over social media. So I've been pretty good. I mean, knock on wood, we still have 2 more days to avoid these spoilers. But, you know, for the most part, it's been pretty good. You have no issue with it being taped either, do you? Given the circumstances.
No, I think it opens up a world of possibilities, actually. It allows them to make as crisp a show as they need to. Like, you know, if something goes wrong, just retape it. You know, like we're not going to be able to tell the difference.
Shit out.
Yeah, like we're not going to be able to tell.
No.
This is obviously the live show is great, but you know we're not going to have a crowd. So what's the point of doing a live show? You know, and you could tape it, you can get it out of the way, and now you could have, like, you know, you have shows taped, so these superstars are in essence getting a break.
And they're in self-isolation. They're following the rules like everybody else is. Not living in a hotel in Orlando, or if they live there, it's a bit different. But they're not having to travel, which is what's really quite dangerous at the moment, given the circumstances. So, also, I'm hoping and praying, since we don't have any fans, I'm hoping we're not sticking to the same formula of how a wrestling show looks. I hope we approach this WrestleMania as a bit more like cinematic. Tight close-up shots of their faces, and they've been doing that. Their promo work has been best WWE promo work maybe ever, just in a long time, where we've just seen such crisp promos from everybody. And I hope we get that little bit more of it, make it feel less like a live show and more like a television show, more like a movie, and approach it that way. I think we could. Wrestling always kind of looks pretty formatted. It's pretty much like hard cam, few camera changes, hard cam, and that's how we go. But in this instance, you can kind of, why can't we have different elements and make it, if there's no fans, let's eliminate the fact that there's no fans, and let's really hammer in on this being like WrestleMania the movie or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and no one's gonna. This is the time to take risks, you know, with stuff like that. No one's gonna blame you if you do something weird, because like this is clearly a weird situation, so it calls for it in a way. Mm-hmm. Plus, you have two matches on this card. You have Cena Fiend in the Firefly Funhouse match. You have Taker Styles in the Boneyard match. Clearly, those aren't going to be standard wrestling matches. So go crazy, I say. Go absolutely bananas. Do whatever you want to do to make those matches as unique as possible, and they're going to resonate with people.
Yep. Make this, if we don't have fans, let's really hammer in on the fact that we don't have fans, we don't have a live show. Let's make it a little different. That's what I'm hoping for. And I guess, like you said, with those 2 matches, we do have a chance we'll get that in those. But they kind of did take that approach last week on SmackDown with Corbin and Elias. Some people didn't like it. I thought it was fine. I liked it.
I thought the clip of Elias falling is kind of funny.
It was kind of cheesy and kind of funny, but
wrestling is inherently cheesy. I don't have a problem with wrestling being cheesy, because it literally is cheese.
Yeah, it is just it's the weirdest, wackiest, like, it's just weird. It's a weird industry that we watch and we love, but I hope they take that approach to this WrestleMania, and if it's going to be different, let's turn up that dial all the way to 11, you know? Let's really get there. But we've both been on the wonderful Everything Pro Wrestling, Conrad. We both were. I was a part of night 1 earlier in the week over on his show, and you were a part of night 2, so we have talked about half the card each. So this is going to be interesting to kind of talk about. I was going to do a complete prediction show, but I think I'm just going to run through some matches, and we'll just talk about what we feel is necessary, because not everything on this card is beaming at me, to be completely honest. There's some matches on here that I'm just like, I don't really care for, but I understand why they're on there, because there's no Battle Royal, it's just to kind of fill the card at this point, with it being 2 nights. So, final thoughts on it being 2 nights. I know we've had many conversations about WrestleMania being 2 nights this last couple of months, and ever since really Wrestle Kingdom went to 2 nights this year, we've had this conversation. But usually, I've already said, I'm not usually for 2 nights, but given this circumstance, 2 3-hour shows, or 2, 3, and 15 3 hours and 15-minute shows, I'm kind of for it. Usually I'm in for the long haul with Mania. You're the same. Final thoughts on 2 nights. Are you happy? Are you indifferent? Are you not happy?
I'm like somewhat. I'm definitely leaning happier because we're getting 2 nights of content where we there's literally like nothing else to do, so it's nice to have 2 nights of escapism rather than just the one.
Yeah.
Normally, I am a big one night guy because I love that marathon. I know that might be a minority opinion,
Oh, I'm
but I
the same.
love like the 7-hour marathon,
Oh.
man. You get some snacks, some drinks, you
Oh,
get together with your
God.
friends, and you just sit down from like 5 to 12, and I love it. And I was part when New Japan went to 2 nights earlier in the year. I didn't like it because of that very specific reason.
Mm-hmm.
And especially it's different. It's even like more magnified with New Japan because I'm not watching every week like I do with WWE. I'm watching literally maybe that's it for the year. I might only watch live Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
So I want it to be the one. I want to just be able to commit to one night, you know?
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm that marathon runner in this case with only for WrestleMania. I don't really like long shows when it's like any other show. Maybe SummerSlam, maybe the Rumble, but not in the same length as WrestleMania. If WrestleMania, I think I've already said this before, but if WrestleMania was 9-10 hours, I would sit there and watch it all. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. It's the one time of the year where I'm like, I'm dedicating this day to wrestling anyway. Let's go. Let's go big or go home. So I'm still not fussed. Given the no fan situation, I'm more than happy for it to be 2 nights because I don't know if I could watch 7-8 hours of wrestling with no fans. It would probably be a little bit different because there's only so much I can watch. But hey, it's going to take these people in the ring to really deliver something special to make me forget that there's no fans and kind of make me be the fan at home. So I'm hoping for that. I hope to be pleasantly surprised by this WrestleMania. It's certainly going to be the most unique WrestleMania ever. There's never going to be, well, knock on wood, there'll never be another Mania like this. So let's hope for the best. You know what I mean? Like I'm going in with positive thoughts and I'm not going in with like super high expectations. And that's usually the way to go with everything because you can't be let down.
Yeah.
But I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it. I am excited. It just doesn't feel like WrestleMania time. It just doesn't, and I'm not gonna lie and say that it is. I don't think anyone's in that WrestleMania zone. We're in a very weird time in the world. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to certain aspects of WrestleMania. I'm certainly looking forward to the main one I'm looking forward to is Edge and Randy Orton. That's kind of what I think most people are looking forward to. I hope, and I don't think it will be, but I think it deserves and it's earned the right to be main event of one of these nights, whatever night it goes on. If you had to venture a guess, would it be night 1 or night 2? They haven't released I kind of like by the way, everybody, I kind of like the fact that WWE haven't announced what's on what night because I like being surprised.
Oh, I agree 100%. I really like the fact that, I don't really know what I'm getting because like if I have 2 concrete cards in front of me, like what happens if I like night 1, but I know I'm not gonna. I don't want to know that I'm like not gonna. I don't want to know beforehand if I'm gonna like one night over the other.
Yeah.
So I say divvy it up and we'll just see what happens. Plus, we can't be angry online about what matches are made the main event if we don't know what matches are going to be made the main event.
Yep. And then we can just kind of let things happen organically. But yeah, Edge and Orton, thoughts on that, because their promos have been fantastic. Both Edge and Orton, I think this has been what I'm looking forward to the most. Where does it go on the card? Does it go night 1, night 2? Give me all your thoughts on Edge and Orton.
So the promos have been so good, and that shouldn't surprise anybody because they're 2 of the greats at that. Yeah. Maybe you could be a little surprised because Edge has been away for 8 years, but he's done acting in that time, so he arguably is probably better at conveying his emotions now than he was in his previous run.
Yeah,
Orton's great as always. I love Randy Orton, and I think he's perfect in this role. And I just think that this is our childhood, man. This is like and I think I touched on this last week. This is rated RKO, man. Everyone hated those guys,
Yeah.
but we respected those guys. You know, we knew how good they were, and now we're seeing these two come to blows, and it's awesome. I think it'll be night one. I hope it's a main event. I don't know if it. I think there's a definite opening for a main event match because I don't think they're gonna do Goldberg and whoever, it not being Reigns, obviously. I don't think that's going to be a main event match. I think McIntyre Lesnar will be one night. Hopefully, it's the second night, and I hope Edge and Orton main event's night one.
It certainly is. It feels like a main event to me. I've always said that when Randy Orton can sink his teeth into something, there's nobody better, and he's obviously got his teeth into this one. Because you can just tell that they're just at their best, and this no fan stuff, if I can look at anything from a positive with this situation, is I did mention the promos before. The promos from everybody. They've been doing these tight shots on just their faces, and this no sound, no crowd has made them so much better because you're actually, instead of the aesthetic and the appeal of a promo, you're actually listening to what they're saying. And I know that sounds weird because they're speaking words and we're always kind of listening, but I've been paying attention to the context of these stories, and they're all telling different good stories. Other promos that have been really good is the stuff for Taker and AJ Styles, this Boneyard match that we really don't know what a Boneyard match is. I would assume that they're going to wrestle in some kind of a graveyard or a cemetery, whatever you want to call it. That would be my guess. It might be buried alive. It might be a casket match. We really don't know, but I don't think it's going to be inside the PC, or it's going to be an element of the PC that we don't know is the PC, and they're going to build some kind of contraption where they've filmed this. But the promos that Taker has been cutting and AJ have been so good, and not only that, The Undertaker is the most protected character in wrestling history. He's still the only element of kayfabe that we had alive in wrestling, from our perspective anyway. And to hear the words Mark Calloway and being him married to Michelle McCool and all of these other things, retirement, old man, from AJ Styles to Undertaker, it's so bizarre and it's so weird that we're getting this. What have you thought of this whole kayfabe-ness breaking of The Undertaker, who is the most sacred character in wrestling ever? What have you thought about all of this, and what are your opinions on this Boneyard match?
Okay, so while I am scarred every time AJ uses something, he uses Taker's real name, calls out his wife, shit like that. It kicks me right in the childhood. At the same time, for me, the Taker character died when he lost at WrestleMania, and doubly so when he lost to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. So it doesn't bother me now because I don't think there's anything left for the Undertaker character, and as we see in wrestling, it's just you have to put people over, and if this is how AJ Styles is going to get over by tearing down the mythos that surrounds the Undertaker, then I'm fine with it. I think I think that Taker is clearly okay with it, or else he wouldn't allow it to happen.
Yeah.
And obviously he wouldn't sign off on Styles saying these things if they weren't cool about it. So I'm not, it's not like they're like screwing him over or anything. No. The Boneyard match will probably, like I said a little bit earlier, it's one of the two matches on this card where it really allows them to be outside, just to think out the box and do some really crazy, unique stuff.
Yep.
And I think they should just go with it. I think they should just lean completely into like the campy, sort of hokey aspects of it. The Boneyard match. Go film it in a graveyard somewhere, or at least make a set that looks like a graveyard. I don't even know what the match is gonna be. Like, I don't know if it's like a buried alive match or it's just a wrestling match at a graveyard or what.
Yeah,
but I think you've got two of the greatest to ever do it in there, and I think they're gonna make something really special happen no matter what the stipulations are around it.
Yeah, I hope so. The thing that I if I can look at this from in a bigger picture, the thing with this whole AJ Styles, calling him Mark and talking about Michelle McCool, and is that you can't go back. No matter
Oh,
what,
you're
this
right.
will always is just, it's going to be there. We've gone there, and now it's because this isn't Taker's last match. I don't think so. I don't think he's going to have his last match in front of no fans, personally. I think maybe if this could have been his last match, maybe, if this was all just in the normal circumstances, but I don't think it's his last match. But we're getting like that badass biker, big evil Taker elements in this, and I hope that we get Taker riding in on a motorbike to this boneyard. I hope we get that element of Taker, because we haven't seen that in so long, and Taker's only got so much more left in him, so I'd like to see this one more time before he walks off into the sunset. So I'm happy for it. I'm not fussed. I know some people are like, well, a boneyard match, that sounds a bit weird. Yeah, sure, but we've had lots of weird shit in wrestling, so I really don't mind. And really, it's just the name of a match at the end of the day. It's what they do. And they're both fantastic. I mean, AJ Styles is one of the best ever, and Taker is the greatest character in wrestling ever. So I'm more than happy for that. I didn't get to talk about this match on my night one with Conrad. You got to talk about it on your night two, which I'm jealous about. Charlotte and Rhea Ripley. NXT Women's Championship. Man, this is the match out of everything where I'm bummed the most, because I really wanted to see the NXT Women's Championship, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair in front of 80,000 people. Now, I'm not saying that this match cannot still be great, because they're both fantastic, and what they do in the ring at the end of the day is just going to be wrestling, and they're probably going to kill it, but it just makes me really bummed that it's, the first time ever an NXT Championship's being defended at WrestleMania, and it's in front of nobody. What do you think about this match, though? Because I am still personally ready for it, and I think it could be, whatever night it's on, it would be potentially one of the show stealers. I just think they're that good. But what are you feeling on it?
Oh man, I mean, I get what you're saying. Obviously, this match should be this match is hurt a little bit by not being in front of the 80,000, but I don't think it's as hurt as some other matches are, for sure. Obviously, it sucks that Rhea is not going to get like her WrestleMania moment, so to speak, in front of the huge ass crowd. But she's still, she's still getting in the ring with Charlotte Flair.
Yes.
That's a huge deal.
Yes.
We talked at length about this on Conrad's show, and this is probably my favorite discussion. It really, I really had to think about it a little bit, because this is one that I'm still kind of not sure which way it's going to go, because I think both outcomes are very plausible.
Yes.
I think you could have Rhea win and get that huge, resume boosting win over Charlotte Flair, who, even if she's not the champ, even if she's not like the top woman in the division, she's still Charlotte Flair. She's still she will be at the top.
She's
forever.
The queen.
Yes, she will be at the top forever. And I think Rhea beating her is a huge feather in her cap. On the other hand, Charlotte winning opens up a huge world of possibilities that I would not have thought possible like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
We could see Charlotte go back to her roots, go back to what made her, was just having great matches with the likes of Sasha, Becky, Bayley. Now she can go down there and have matches with Io and Candice and whoever else, Tegan, Dakota. The list goes on and on. I don't want to spend. If I go through the whole list, it'll take up like 20 minutes. But I think that this could really go either way. I said this on Conrad's show, and I'll say it again here. I think Rhea will win, because I think Charlotte is so solidified in her spot that losses I don't even think losses hurt her at this point. I think she could lose like a million matches, still be thrown into title contention, and people will be like, well, yeah, that makes sense. I don't think I don't think her credibility gets hurt. I think if Rhea loses, even though she's losing to Charlotte Flair, and that's nothing to be ashamed of, I think that she benefits more from a win than Charlotte gets hurt from a loss.
Yeah. I just really, every time I think about this, I'm like, imagine the crowd every near fall of this match if Charlotte won. I don't know. But I'm still something that really I seen on WWE's Instagram or something yesterday. It's been, as of yesterday, 273 days since Rhea Ripley has lost in singles competition.
Jesus, wow.
Uh-oh. Who breaks streaks?
Who breaks streaks? Oh,
Charlotte
no.
Flair breaks streaks. Now, this thing is I agree with you 1000%. No matter who wins, the possibilities are kind of endless because Rhea wins. She's got a whole list of people that I'd like to see her work with. Charlotte Flair wins, same deal. Whole list of people that I want her to work with. The problem is now is that title changes to me, I don't think are going to feel that great because I don't think we're getting wrestling after WrestleMania, or at least new wrestling after WrestleMania. So the momentum is going to be gone. So from a selfish standpoint, I hope Rhea just wins and we don't see a title change because I don't want that momentum to be gone where there's no wrestling and then we're like, oh, Charlotte won. Okay, cool. You know what I mean? So I don't.
Yeah, I get you.
Of course, there's a huge chunk of me that just is just like, I hope Rhea wins because Adelaide, and fuck yeah, Adelaide. But there's another part of me that's like, I really want Charlotte to win because I want to see her work with Tegan and Dakota and Io and Candice and Bianca and all of them. So to me, this match out of pretty much most of the others, it doesn't bother me who wins because I'm happy.
Yeah, I agree. I'm 100% the same way. I think we win. You know, not to be corny, but I think no matter what happens, we come out as the winner.
Because we're gonna get all of these. Because anything the NXT Women's Division does, I'm just like glued. I'm so glued to the television that I'm just like, I'm ready for this. Whatever they do, they just knock it out of the park. It's my favorite aspect of wrestling is that division. I just love everyone in it except Aaliyah.
Oh my god, this is 2 weeks in a row. Just dog shit on Aaliyah.
Well, you know, she's been in NXT longer than I've been breathing, so I just don't understand how she's not.
She's been in NXT since NXT was WCW.
Yeah, like honestly, like she's just been there like as long as like the history of time. Like you look back in the history of wrestling and it's like Aaliyah, middle of the ground in the NXT Women's Division. It's like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, cool. But not to shit on Aaliyah. If you're listening to this, Aaliyah, apologies.
Yeah, definitely.
But I just love the NXT Women's Division. So win-win for me. Let's talk about the SmackDown Women's Championship, the Fatal 5-Way Elimination match, which makes my skin crawl because the best part about 5-way matches or 4-way matches is the fact that and the element of like surprise of someone winning. When you have elimination, it kind of just takes that away, to be completely honest. That's just I'm biased maybe, but
no, I agree. I think that, you know,
it's just essentially like 4 one-on-one matches in a row. That's how I see an elimination match.
Yeah, I think you hurt yourself storytelling wise because when you have these multi-man, woman, child matches, we don't condone children wrestling, but when you have these multi-person matches, like the element of surprise is there, like you said, you know, anybody could win on like a random ass roll up or something.
Oh my god, that's my favorite part. You know when someone hits a finish and then someone comes in and they chuck it out and then they get the win. That's my favorite thing about
makes
like,
you
fatal
look
4-way.
Smart. It makes you look smart as shit.
Yeah, and you're sneaky
like,
little bitch.
You know, less work, reap the benefits. But with the elimination style of it, like you're gonna get basically it's like, all right, well we have these people in here, but they're literally only going to be in here to be eliminated. Like you're basically saying that the fringe competitors here, which in this case, you know, like Tamina, no shot.
Excuse you.
Lacey, probably not a chance.
It's really between the three, isn't it? Bayley, Sasha, and Naomi. That's how I see it. But if it's going to be like this, why not make it a gauntlet? Or why not make it an over-the-top rope match? Or something just with a little bit more, I don't know. There's just nothing there for me, personally. However, that's not to discredit the 5 in the ring. I still think it could be fun. It's going to be a little bit of a throwaway match, I think, in the grand scheme of things. I think this will go night 2, to be completely honest with you. And I think that It's either gonna go. There's a few ways it could go here. Either it's gonna be down what everyone seems to still want is Banks and Bailey, and it's gonna be down to those two. And Banks goes over. It could be down to Naomi and Bailey because, I mean, there's a story there, so it kind of makes sense. Bailey could be eliminated first. I have this weird thing that Sasha's going to eliminate Bailey really fast. And then Sasha's going to kind of take it and run with it. Something left of field that I don't know if many people are talking about, and I'll happily talk about it, and I'll happily be wrong when it doesn't happen. There is the 3 members of Team Bad in this match. Imagine if we got a reunion.
Yeah, I mean,
I love Team Bad. I don't know what anyone else thought about them, but I love them 3 together. And I love Naomi as a heel. I'm a complete and utter mark for her when she's a heel.
The thing with Team Bad is that I just wanted to see Sasha with Becky and Charlotte when they first came up.
Yeah, honestly.
Like, I wanted to see them take on, like, if you had switched Sasha and Paige, even though I think Sasha made more sense in Team Bad, I would have rather see the 3 NXT upstarts, on a team going up against the vets. So I wasn't a huge Team Bad person. I also just, Tamina deserves better. But
Tamina God, Machine. Unity. Remember when they used to do that?
Yeah, I'm not saying, they were entertaining as hell.
They were the best. They made those 3 groups that they they were the best. They fit the well. They made the most out of it, in my opinion. But
yeah, at that point, because it was the Bellas and Alicia Fox.
It was
which
Team
just
Bella. Excuse me, Team Bella.
Whatever. Team Bella, who no one wanted to root for. You had PCB, or as I like to refer to them, as the Submission Sorority before that got dropped.
Because they did a little Google search of that one.
Yeah, they did a little research and were like, oh man, that's not appropriate. They were just they weren't fleshed out characters. They were just good wrestlers at the time, we didn't really, the only thing we knew about them was that Sasha or Charlotte was Ric Flair's daughter, that's
then
really
Paige
the only...
turned on her, and that broke away. They were the first ones to break up out of those 3 groups.
and it went from there, but at the moment it was just they were just there. Team Bad at least had some character. They had fun with it, they had characters. Sasha did fit in with them really well because Sasha and Naomi are, they both, they're like 2 sides of the same coin in a lot of ways, especially
they
when
play
they're
off each other really well.
Yeah. And then Tamina was the enforcer. It made logical sense. They were they were the most fully fleshed out group.
It's weird. I don't know if you watched Did you watch SmackDown last week? You've been home now, so I don't know if you're watching.
I watched clips.
Okay.
I didn't watch the whole thing.
Did you see the segment at the start of SmackDown last week with the 5 ladies in question?
I think I saw Tamina.
Well,
I'm not even joking. I'm pretty sure I saw it.
That's what okay. I'm not. Let's just talk completely unbiasedly here, because I know everyone has their opinions of Tamina not being that great. However, let's look at things from a business standpoint. Okay, so she comes in. She hasn't been on SmackDown since she was apparently drafted to SmackDown back in October. I don't think she's been on the show once. I don't honestly know. She may have been on the show once, but if she has, I missed it. She comes out and pretty much beats up everybody. Sasha and Bailey run away. That's pretty much the gist of the segment. Why is, from a business standpoint, if you've never seen Tamina before, is she intimidating?
Well, if you've never seen Tamina before, I guess you could make that case because she's a little bit bigger than everybody else. She wears the black. She dresses the part. I don't think that I don't think she's intimidating in the way when you see Nia Jax come out, you're like, oh shit, this
that
girl,
she's gonna beat me up.
Yeah. I don't get that vibe from Tamina. No.
Okay, so you've never seen Tamina before. That's the first time you see her, and then you see a match with her. Okay, you don't know what her moveset's like. You don't know anything about her. You see a match with her. Are you intimidated then?
I'm watching a Tamina match.
Mm-hmm. You're watching a Tamina match unfold before your eyes. Are you intimidated by the end of it?
No.
Okay, so why the fuck is she in this match?
Okay, I was hoping that was the point we were getting at. There's absolutely no reason she should be in this match. She literally hasn't been on the show since October, and even before October, probably hadn't been on the show
Nia
in a while
Jax was
either.
the last time she was relevant, when she was in the
Yeah,
tag team title hunt. And guess what? As much as people want to shit on Tamina, that worked wholeheartedly. That was a great unit. And I think
yeah.
they should have done more with them. Obviously,
I
Nia got hurt, but whatever.
almost called them the Submission Sorority. That wasn't their name.
What did they have a name?
I feel like it was the Samoan somethings.
Was it the Samoan Sisters? No, that sounds too lame.
The Samoan Slaughterhouse, maybe?
Samoan Slaughterhouse, that's what they were. Yes.
See, that is a great name.
That is actually a good name. Sisters, yeah, was lame. But yeah, Slaughterhouse, that makes a good
And when you put Tamina next to someone like Nia, like you see how like big Tamina is, and you see how muscular and built she is,
Yeah.
and that makes her more intimidating. Plus, like they're like the twin towers of the women's tag team division. That's the goal. You know, when she's on her own, she just doesn't. Yeah, she doesn't strike fear in me when she's on her own, and yeah, she hasn't been on the show in so long. So like, well, how does she get to waltz in and get into this title match? Just make it a fatal 4-way.
Yeah, that's what I think. Like Lacey and Naomi. People don't like Lacey Evans, fine, but it makes sense. She's been in a story with Sasha Banks. She's been in a story with Bayley.
Yeah, she's been on the periphery of the title hunt for months now. Like it makes sense.
So
and Naomi obviously just had the match with Bayley at the Saudi show.
Exactly, and Banks is just obviously linked to Bayley, so that makes sense. Or so why not just have it 4? I understand Dana and Carmelo were probably the original plan, but they're off. They're not here. They're in self-isolation or whatever's going on. So they're not there. Why can't we just have a fatal 4-way? It'd be a great little match. I think a fatal 4-way between those 4 would be a lot of fun. There's a lot of elements in there that I think would be fun.
Yeah, I think 5 and 6 is too many moving parts,
But that being said, if there was 5 and it was an elimination, I'd be a little bit more inclined to be like, I'm a little bit more excited about this match.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't think they've done a good. I think they just threw it together. Call it what it is. I don't think there's much behind this match. I don't think they have much investment in it.
Nope, they don't have much investment in the SmackDown Women's division. Even though, in my opinion, I think it's more solid than the Raw.
I definitely think it's more solid than Raw's. I think it's deeper. I think it's like less top heavy.
Yep, it's an even playing field because you take those 4, Lacey, Naomi, Sasha, and Bayley, you put them in a fatal 4-way match, take away that elimination crap, and I could go, okay, I could see any one of those winning. I could see Lacey winning as like a surprise WrestleMania win. I could see that happening, but Tamina, I don't know, dude. Especially, it may be in a fatal 5-way sense with no elimination. I could there's a little part of me that's like, maybe they'll go for that because she's like the odd one out. But in elimination, everyone's going to gang up her first because she's the biggest. Everyone's going to eliminate her first because she's the biggest. And then we're just going to be down to the 4 anyway. So why fucking put her in there? No offense, Tamina. You're a god. You're a machine. You're Mina. Do you, but at least be on TV for the last 3 months. And then I go, okay, you deserve to be in there.
Yeah, it's just, it doesn't make any sense, It's just like, oh, we need someone big. Here's Tamina,
It's like Nia wasn't ready. Or they're like, okay, we're not going to bring Nia in yet because there's no fan element. Because Nia Jax in this match, I'd be a little bit more like, okay, let's go Nia. Because I'm a fan of Nia Jax. So the thing
with Nia is that Nia could win conceivably any match she's in. Tamina, has never shown any tendency to win.
Nope. Nope. Agreed. Well, moving on, we'll smash out the Raw Women's Championship here just because we're on that subject. Becky Lynch. This whole year, she's been the Raw Women's Champion. It is nearly a year ago that she won the Raw Women's Championship in the main event of WrestleMania, defeated Ronda Rousey, and now she's fighting Shayna Baszler. This story that they've been telling, I've enjoyed the year for the most part with Becky as champion. There's obviously been ups and downs. I think it's been a good run. However, if Becky Lynch is to get the victory this weekend, which I think, by the way, it would probably be on night 2 this match, probably. If Becky Lynch is to get the victory, I'm going to sour real fast on Becky because there is nothing else for her to do.
No, I agree. As much as I love Becky, I want Becky to be champion forever. You need to go. It's not that it's gotten stale necessarily, but it's gotten a little old. And I think that you can't have someone be champion forever. You just can't.
Boring.
Especially especially when you don't really have like you're out of challengers. Basically, Shayna's it. Unless you call someone else up, like Shayna's the last line of defense before you could say Becky's beaten just about everybody. And you can't have that because then what do you do? Like where do you go from there when especially because Shayna's been positioned as their toughest challenger since Charlotte, and even on a different playing field than Charlotte, honestly, she's been depicted as absolutely dangerous. So like, yeah, you can't have Becky win because then there's just no one there for Becky to face, and then you're in trouble. Then you're in huge trouble. This is your out right now. People want to see Shayna win. Pull the trigger.
Yeah. And if we, again, in a world where we're getting maybe no wrestling for a little bit, Shayna winning and then taking that, it's the opposite of like, she doesn't need the momentum of a win because she's a batshit, dastardly beat 'em up heel. So she can kind of hold that championship. When she comes back, she's like, it's been 6 weeks since we've had any of this. And she can kind of be like, who's going to step up to me now? Because I'm the baddest. I'm the best. I beat Becky Lynch, the one that was unbeatable. You know what I mean? And Becky in that chase. Oh, I'm so ready for that. I'm so ready for Becky to be on the chase.
Plus, it resets everything. It brings everybody else that Becky is beating back in play. Because like, oh, well, maybe I couldn't beat Becky, but maybe I could beat Shayna. So everyone is back in play when you have a new champ.
Asuka and Charlotte. I mean, Charlotte and Shayna is something that I personally want. I don't know if other people do, because that means Charlotte would automatically be a heel, but I don't really see a face. I don't really see Charlotte as a face or a heel. Charlotte's just Charlotte.
Charlotte is just Charlotte,
and you can cheer or boo her at your own kind of dictation. But there's a lot of people that just opens up, and I think Becky Lynch. I think maybe after this little break, I think we're gonna get a draft, personally. And I think Becky's gonna go over to SmackDown. So that's just my kind of.
I hope she does. Becky I know it's because she went to SmackDown originally, and that's why I'm going to say this, but Becky just feels like SmackDown
and
to
Fox, me. And it will kind of shake it up nicely if maybe you could move. I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing Bayley or Sasha on Raw again, or, just kind of, I don't know, ironing out the divisions a little bit and trying to make both of them solid instead of one top heavy and one kind of just solid.
Yeah, they need to do a better job divvying it up.
Yep.
I agree. Because now it's like you're putting the emphasis on Raw, but you have the talent on SmackDown, basically.
Yeah. And I don't want one division to lack because of the other. You know what I mean? So
no, they should be
even.
They should be given the same amount of like priority.
And split the 4 horsewomen up like they have now with Charlotte and Becky. Keep them all separated. I don't want them all on one show. Because that gets beaten to death, this 4 horsewomen stuff, a lot. I know that's a very easy thing to attack, but it does.
Well, when you have the horsewomen together, then it makes it so like they're only going to challenge each other because they know.
Yes, they put on great matches. I'm not discrediting, because they all can work with one another and they're all fantastic. But it just, if you do something too much, it just gets diluted and it gets boring. And it takes away the appeal. So let's not do that. So let's keep them separated. I wouldn't mind seeing Bayley and Sasha separated, to be completely honest.
I think if you're not going to have them face each other, then split them up. I don't want to see them as friends.
Am I the only one that is kind of intrigued by a Becky and Bayley program? Because we've never seen it. Really?
It's like the last of the horsewoman feuds that we haven't seen, right?
That's the one I want to see, and I just don't know how it would go. I don't know. Like, it's just an element of unknown of what those two could do together. I know they've worked a couple of times in the past on NXT, but they're very different now. And Bayley is a heel, and Becky is a face, and I don't know. There's something about it that intrigues me, and I don't know if it could be fantastic, it could be just okay, but it'll be different, and I like that. And I think that would really hammer in Bayley as a heel, because I know some people aren't into Bayley as a heel, but I am. I really like Bayley as a heel. I think she's done a fantastic job as a heel. So that's just my opinion on that. But we're both on the same agreement here that Shayna should win the Raw Women's Championship.
Yes, that's that. Yeah, to circle back, Shayna should win.
Yep, Shayna should win. Let's break down a few more of these matches. We'll talk about Drew and Brock, obviously. Okay, so I've gone back and forth on this so many times over these last few days, and I've kind of parked my car here on it. It is that I hope Drew doesn't win this weekend because I want the fan reaction for Drew. Plain and simple. As much as it kills me.
You know, I'm so this is the match that more than anything is hurt by no fans.
Yeah.
Because Drew, this is supposed to be Drew's coronation, right? I don't like Drew McIntyre. I've said it.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan, but the work he's done since the Rumble, and I said this. I've said this before. I want to root for Drew McIntyre. When Drew McIntyre was in NXT, I thought he was great. When they turned him and brought him up to the main roster and made him just like a lackey for people, you know, whether it be Ziggler or Corbin or even the Dogs of War era Strowman and shit, like Lashley, that sucked. And I thought McIntyre just was boring, and I didn't like, I didn't like anything he was doing. But since the Rumble, he's got the fans on his side. He's got the story behind him. Like it is a great story. They literally fired his ass, and he went and he went from being that pretty boy, little chosen one asshole, to being this mountain of a man. He is scary looking, and he came back and he worked his way up, and he went through it's even better now that he went through all that dog shit, because now he's on the other side. He's got the people behind him, and he's finally going to get that moment that people have been clamoring for years. He's finally going to get a shot at the chip. He's going to get a shot at Lesnar. I don't know if the match is going to be that great. I'm not a fan of Drew McIntyre's in-ring work necessarily. I'm a big fan of Brock Lesnar's in-ring work. And clearly, and this has been made evident by their work on Raw, clearly Lesnar is enjoying working with him.
Yeah,
he's taking the time out to work with him, right? To make everything perfect. Which tells me that Lesnar is ready to drop the belt to him.
Yeah,
obviously he wants to drop the belt to him. I don't know if it's going to be this weekend though.
I hope not.
With everything obviously going on with no crowd, I don't know if it's going to happen. And plus, even if even if everything was tip top normal and they were at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, there's still always got to be that party.
Oh, you never know with Brock. You never know with Brock. But Brock man,
Brock is never out of a match because they love him.
They really do, and I just want that reaction. I want that genuine feeling. I hope they can stretch this out until we just know when we're coming back to things. Hope Brock just kind of something happens. And
my only concern with that is depending on how long this goes, they could lose interest in Drew.
No, but the thing is, this is I know I said about momentum, and I hope there's no title changes and stuff. Yes and no. Okay, here. In this case, we're not getting anyone. So it's not like we're getting other people pushed, so Drew's getting pushed aside. That's not the case. We're literally out of wrestling. So when we come back, we're going to be excited to see whoever, really. We're just going to be like, yes, wrestling's back. And we kind of pick up this ball and go, okay, now we can go with Drew. Now we can feel it. I'm not the biggest Drew McIntyre guy either. I'm not maybe as bad as you are with him, but I'm not I don't necessarily see it with Drew McIntyre. I like Drew, but I probably like Brock more. However, the wrestling fan in me wants Drew to win. The wrestling fan in me goes, I want that moment, but I want it to be special. Imagine if, I still am always saying, if everything is back to somewhat normality within the next 3 or 4 months, SummerSlam's going to be our mania. I think they're going to treat SummerSlam as a big fucking deal this year. And could we stretch that out? Depending on how long we don't have wrestling for, could we stretch this out? Who knows? We don't know. We're in such a weird time with the world. So we don't know. If there's no wrestling, do we lose interest just because no one's on our screen? Do we gain more interest because absence makes the heart grow fonder? Do we just lose interest in wrestling? We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. So I personally hope that Drew doesn't win, just for the reasons I've said before. Just I want that fan reaction. We'll smash out a couple of matches before we say goodbye for this week, but I refuse to talk about the Universal Championship because I don't fucking care, so we're not talking about it. Let's talk about Brian.
Oh God.
I don't fucking care. I don't care. I'm not talking about it. You can talk about it on your own fucking time, Kevin. Let's talk about.
It's gonna be dog shit. So let's just skip it.
Let's talk about something that will be great and it will probably benefit from no fans in a weird way. Is Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn, because those two dudes can just fucking wrestle. They can just wrestle, and we know that they can go. And this is gonna be the time where it doesn't matter about the fans because they're gonna have a wrestling match inside that wrestling ring. IC title, what it's meant to be about, the Workhorse Championship. Sami Zayn, Daniel Bryan, it's win-win. It doesn't matter to me who wins because they're both fantastic. I'm just happy that it's happening, even with no fans. What do you think?
Oh, I am right there with you. I think that these guys are going to be given free reign. I think that they're going to be told, go out there and do what you guys do. And there are not a lot of people on this earth that do what Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn do better than Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn. We've sort of lost it with Zayn because he's been in such a non-wrestling role recently. You know, he's been doing more managerial stuff. He's great on the microphone. He's been great with Shinsuke and with Cesaro. He's been one of the highlights, I think, of wrestling in general has been Sami's antics and his work. And I'm glad they finally put a belt on him. You know, he's earned it for years. I think it's going to be fantastic. I don't know who's going to win. I kind of want Sami to have a long run. I don't think Bryan needs a title to be successful and to be popular. Where I don't think Zayn does either, but to a lesser extent, I think Zayn would benefit right now from a nice long title run with his goons at his side, you know, fending off all comers. So I hope Sami wins, but I think we're in for a treat.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just really excited for that match because it's just going to be pure wrestling in a time where pure wrestling is going to matter more so than anything, because you can do that kind of slow build and not have to worry about a crowd getting bored. Because a casual audience gets bored with that. I don't. I love that shit. It's my favorite kind of wrestling. That slow burn, lots of holds, lots of technical work, and then big crescendo and building and building and building and building and building. A WWE audience can get pretty complacent with stuff like that.
Yeah,
like, I don't care.
And as a result, you know, we don't always get to see that sort of technical stuff. Even with guys that are proficient in it, like Bryan and Zayn, we don't get to see it as much, you know. But with Bryan and Gulak last month or whenever the hell that was,
my God, that was so good.
That was like
style of wrestling.
That was a classic example of a technical wrestling match.
That is like WCW cruiserweights, but I'm not talking about like the Rey Mysterios of the world. I'm talking about like Dean Malenko.
The Dean Malenkos of the world.
Jericho's, like that kind of technical style. The Guerreros, the Dean Malenkos, the Benoits, those kind of wrestlers that oh my God, I just love so much. That technical wrestling that's lost in a WWE world. It's lost in a mainstream wrestling world in a lot of weird ways. You don't see it every single match. I would be personally fine if that was the style of wrestling that I was watching all the time. Because I love that. The amount of times I go back and watch those kind of matches from the Cruiserweight division in WCW and the early 2000s wrestling between those guys and some others like the Perry Satins, the Jerry Lynn's. I watch that kind of stuff because I love studying. That's when I study and analyze wrestling. I get into that mindset where it's just, I tune out everything else and I'm just watching every hold. It's when I can kind of get into my brain of that weird encyclopedia that a lot of us have in our brains with wrestling. I'm not smart with anything, but I know wrestling holds and I know why, I can understand why someone does this and where we're building to. Like, I just love, that's the other part of wrestling that I can just really tap into. the aesthetic appeal and everything else
Yeah.
is fun and the storytelling, but there's something else about just two dudes having a technical wrestling masterpiece, and that's what I hope from Brian and Zayn, because I know they can do that.
I wish we got that more. Like I understand that you want to have different kinds of wrestling because you don't want to be like stuck doing one thing forever. But WWE really is sort of they do really have like matches that are similar.
Yeah, there is a WWE style.
Yeah,
I think all wrestling is wrestling, but yeah,
I think every company has a style. One of the reasons I've come to enjoy New Japan is that I know that people associate them with a style, but I actually think they do multiple styles of wrestling really well, better than WWE. I think WWE has their formula that they allow deviations from, but they won't throw out completely.
Because they know that it works, and it does work.
It's not a bad formula.
No.
I'd be like, It's honestly rare where you're like, that was a bad WWE match.
Yeah,
I think they're all.
It's hard to say. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really. Who are we to say that's a bad wrestling match anyway? Really, at the end of the day, we're just people that don't know what we're doing. But like, there's not many matches that I'll just be like, that was just straight up bad. They don't know what they're doing. Like, you don't get that in AEW. You don't get that in WWE that often. You get some matches that are worse than others, and there's some matches that are like, oh man, I didn't like that very much. But it's not necessarily times where I'll be like, that was just straight up bad.
No, it's because
times, but
they're all world class performers. They're all here for a reason, So like they might not have the most exciting matches, but they're not like out there, screwing shit up and just having ugly ass wrestling matches. You don't see that.
Yeah. We'll talk about maybe one or two more matches here. I did want to quickly touch on the women's tag team championships. For one reason and one reason only, is that this time last year, I was going around talking about how much the Iconics were going to win, and everyone was calling me an idiot, and then they won. And 1 year later, we're getting Asuka, Kairi Sane, the Kabuki Warriors, with Bliss and Nikki Cross. 1 year later, we're a year and a month out from when they were debuted those championships. I know people have their opinions on them. How do you feel about the women's tag team championships? Do you think that, maybe not right now, but do you think they're on a track to be a success story, or do you think these are ultimately in a year or two just not going to be a thing?
I think they're gonna be a thing because I don't think WWE wants to admit they're wrong. I don't want to say that it was a bad idea to introduce them. I don't think they've been handled as well as they could have, but I think that they've been handled better recently. And that's largely in part due to the work that Bliss and Cross, for sure, when they had them, they didn't have them very long, but they had them. But definitely the Kabuki Warriors have been great with them. I would say they've been terrific. And I think that's going to be a fun match. Yeah. And I think they put some shine on those belts, Not the Iconics winning those in a WrestleMania full of like highlight moments and like feel good stories. People honestly don't mention the Iconics winning those belts as often as they should. I know you do, but like generally, people are like, oh, you had Brian win, you had Kofi win, you had Becky win, you had Seth win, but like the Iconics, even though they're heels, that was still like a great moment. Like you felt so. Find me a person that was like unhappy at that time. I'll be like, if you didn't feel something for them winning and crying in the ring, like, goddamn, you have no heart.
Yeah, you're not a person. You're not a human being with a beating heart.
Yeah.
I don't think. But it's so.
I think
weird.
That's where those belts started. I obviously the match to win them at the Elimination Chamber was good. I think that they put them on Bailey and Sasha as sort of like, oh, this is as like a service award,
and almost like because we have to.
Yeah,
like
I don't understand.
There,
I don't understand why you would put. I think your first champ should have the belt for a while, because otherwise,
think that had something to do with Bailey Banks going away. I think.
Yeah, that was a whole weird situation, but
I got a WrestleMania moment out of it. That is my personally my favorite moment ever in wrestling. I've come to terms with that I don't think I've liked a moment more than that. And I could have a whole episode on the fact what they should have done with the Iconics. It's not very often that I kind of just shit on WWE's booking. I'm not that kind of dude. I'm kind of like, I just go with the punches, but they've done rightly fucked up with that. And I'm speaking a little bit biasly here, but they could have been the female equivalent of the New Day in a comedy world. They could have put some personalities on those championships, and they should have let them run with it, because the stuff they were doing on .com was not reflecting what they weren't given on TV. They were just not on television.
Well, they weren't given anything on TV. They were barely on TV.
But if you go back, everybody, go back on YouTube and just type in the Iconics WWE.com exclusives, because they did some funny shit. Like, they would just go around and just be absolute idiots. And I don't know if it's because I don't know if it's that sense of humor that I'm just used to, because that is a very sarcastic, dry Australian humor. That is how everyone's humor is around here. It's kind of like silly and dry, and it's very like self-deprecating humor. I don't know if like, I don't know. Is that like a normal sense of humor in the States? I don't know. I don't live there, but that to me was just hilarious. And I was like, why is this not... There's a lot of times, not with just the Iconics, that other people, I'm like, why are you not putting this stuff that's on your YouTube platform or just social media platform? Why is that not on television? Because it's hilarious and it's funny and it's something that I would tune into. Like, I just didn't understand the disconnect between what people like the Iconics were doing, walking around with those championships when they were getting their side plates and going and showing it off, or when it was Peyton's birthday and they were going and asking everyone, you know, whose birthday it is, and no one really understood why anyone was celebrating. They just did so much stuff on .com, and they're just funny people. It was just weird that they took them championships off, but then we got Bliss and Cross, and I thought that was the right move because of Alexa Bliss. But then they lost it to the Kabuki Warriors, and they turned heel, which was great. And then they had that big TLC match, and they've kept the championships. But then Asuka went into a program with Becky, and no matter what happens with these championships, they're always pushed to the side. And I think that's just something to say with WWE's booking of tag teams in general. They don't even give enough time to the tag team championships of the male equivalents of the tag team championships, let alone a championship that's been in existence for a year and a bit. So I don't know, but given, like you said, they've got some shine on this match because they've taken honestly, the best thing that's happened to them is this no fans situation, because there's less people on the show and they've gotten a little bit more time to actually build a story with Asuka and Bliss and Nikki, and they've done well with it. They've taken what very little they've been given and they've kind of run with it. Asuka's become funny and had way more of a personality than just ass-kicking Asuka, which was great, but she has this other side of her, and it's dancing and stuff. They've actually got a little bit of shine on themselves over this, so I don't really expect too much out of, like, I don't expect like a 20-minute classic, calm down, but I expect them to go out there and have a nice little match for a little while, and I'm anticipating a title change here. I don't know about you.
I don't know. It's tough because, like, I don't know why. Oh Jesus! I think the Kabuki Warriors are just so good with the belt. I'd rather see them drop it to like a brand new team or a new set of contenders than sort of work backwards.
The problem is with this is whoever wins, where do you really go?
Well, yeah. Where does anybody go after this, though? You can make that case for literally anyone.
Honestly, yeah, good point. Is there anything else you want to touch on with WrestleMania before we wrap this up? Is there any other matches that you really want to talk about?
I'm trying to think because, like, honestly, the card isn't even like fully formed to me. Even though
I thought it would be.
It's like literally WrestleMania has like happened for all intents and purposes. It's been filmed.
It's been filmed. Elias and Baron Corbin, no thanks. Aleister Black and Bobby Lashley, no thank you. I don't want to talk about
we talked about Black and Lashley on Conrad's show, and I honestly didn't even know it was happening.
Wow.
And me and Kurt sort of came to the consensus that, and this was his idea, I just sort of agreed to it, the match should literally be ring the bell, black mass, count to 3.
It might be. To be completely honest.
And I'm not shitting on Lashley, but like at this point,
I will happily.
Okay,
Get fucked, Bobby Lashley. He's so boring. everyone was talking about Bobby Lashley when he come over from TNA after his WWE run and then went and did MMA and then went to TNA. And I was like, he's a fantastic heel. You wait till you see him, because I wasn't watching TNA at that point. You wait till you see Bobby Lashley and you wait till you see him, and then it's like, big fart. No, he's boring.
Yeah, no.
Lana
Lashley
is the most
dominated
interesting thing about him.
in a creative valley for them. Like that was not good TNA.
I wasn't
whatever
watching.
it was.
I wasn't watching Impact at that point. That was like
I
2015.
wasn't watching, but I was keeping track of everything. I'm pretty sure Lashley and Del Rio main evented like their Slammiversary, which is like WrestleMania.
Whoa. Sign me up.
That match must have been absolute shit.
That must have been pure fucking farts, that match, because I don't like Del Rio. I never have. I never will.
I think Del
never
Rio is the most overrated in-ring worker I've ever seen.
My fucking God. No, thank you. I don't want to sign on the dotted line for anything that he does, because I think he's just not interesting. I think he's a charismatic black hole, and I don't like him. So there's that. Bobby Lashley is not far from that. I don't have a hatred for the man at all, but Lana is the only interesting aspect of him, and people hate Lana. I don't hate Lana. I think she's okay, but like, it's not like I'm saying like she's the greatest thing ever, because she's not. But out of her and Bobby, I signed me up for Lana. You know what I mean? Like, I hope Alistair, and you know what's weird? I don't really see it with Alistair anyway. Why am I going on a rant about this match? I don't know, but I don't really see that much. Everyone loves Alistair Black. Am I just on the outskirts here, just like, what are you guys looking at?
Come on.
I know it's an unpopular opinion. I don't see it. I don't think he's bad, because he's not bad at all. But I didn't really care for him that much in NXT. I don't really care for him that much now. Sorry. I do apologize to everybody. I'm not trying to be a complete and utter asshole, but I just don't. I'm going to be honest. Would you rather me? Do you want me to lie? I think Alistair Black is
all right. I'm going to take some heat
fantastic.
for not liking McIntyre, so you could take some for not liking Black.
All right. We'll take heat for that. That's fine by me. Other than that, we're not talking about the Universal Championship. So other than that, do you want to talk about anything else? We got the Raw Tag Team Championships and the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, but the ladder match will be really good.
What's the ladder match? I don't even know.
You don't know what the ladder... Wow. New Day, Usos, Miz and Morrison.
Oh, that's fun. That should be good.
Awesome. Signing
we
off on that one.
We didn't talk about that on...
We talked about it on our show,
I imagine you guys probably talked about it. We talked about the Raw Tag Team titles, and I'll touch on that for a quick sec. It's obviously this match was thrown together at the very last minute. Austin Theory literally been in NXT for a cup of coffee. He's on WrestleMania right now. Good for him, honestly. Make the most of your opportunities. I can't foresee a title change because of it though. He's not supposed to be there. Even if he was, I don't think Garza and Andrade would have won the belts either. It's just, the whole thing just sort of feels very, very cobbled together.
Austin Theory. This is my theory on this. I'm a piece of shit. I know. Is that the only reason that Austin Theory is here is because he is young. He fits in with that group because he is young, like Angel Garza. And he's not getting plucked out of an NXT storyline. He's just kind of just being there.
Yeah, he's just there. Like, he's not doing anything.
So therefore, it just works. He can take an L. It don't matter. I haven't had enough opportunity to see Austin Theory to form an opinion on him.
I'll tell you what I've seen of Austin Theory. I think I watched one of his. He's good. He's definitely good. I've watched one of his NXT matches, but the one thing I saw from Raw, besides like promos and stuff, was a little snippet of the match where I don't know what the match itself was, but it was the Street Profits were involved.
The flip.
Theory
Are you talking about
involved.
the flip?
Yeah, I'm talking about Montez Ford selling out, doing the tope, and just not getting caught.
Yeah, Austin Theory just kind of fell with him and fell to the other side. And I'm like, was Theory meant to move out of the way, or was he meant to catch him?
That is an absolutely brutal landing.
That noise was just because he went and Zelina squealed like really high pitched, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be bad. And then it was just like, I can't even mimic the noise because it was just so
I can't replicate
horrendous.
the noise. It was wild.
I was just like, I was watching Raw. I believe I was on my laptop, just doing something else while Raw's on, because why not? And then I heard Zelina scream, and I looked up, and then I just went, "Ooh!" Oh no! Did he just pass away? Because ow. It didn't look nice. It didn't sound nice, but I think it sounded bad because he landed on the ramp and there was no audience to kind of bounce the sound off of. That's why it sounded as bad.
I mean,
as
everything sounds a little different with no crowd.
It does, doesn't it? Especially when there's managers that are at ringside. You can hear everything they're saying. You can hear the wrestlers talking shit to one another. It's a really weird experience. I don't think I hate this experience. I'm kind of like, this is different. But it's certainly different. That's what I'll say on that. But yeah, Austin Theory certainly looks the part. He's 23 years old, 22 years old. He's young. He's got a lot to learn. I hate his facial hair. I don't know why, but it grows weird. He's got a weird beard. I guess that's just a me thing, but it just really irritates me. I don't know why. But he is good. And I think the word potential is what we're going to be saying with him for a long time.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
He can speak. He can go. He's obviously got the look. Vince would love him. Vince would just be all over him because he's jacked and he's young. He's good looking. I just don't really think Vince could look at him and just go, I'm not going to pay attention to him. I think management would love him.
We've come to know Vince has a type.
Oh, yes, and that is his type. Because he's muscular. He's big, but he's not huge. But he's still, I don't know. Vince is just, management's just going to be all over him. I couldn't imagine, this is a big opportunity for him. I mean, to be at WrestleMania and be in the company for 4 months?
Literally.
Big deal.
Barely any time.
So yeah,
I have no idea.
I don't really expect much from that match, and I expect the Street Profits just to win. Austin Theory will be taking that L.
It could be fun,
Yeah, sure it will be. Other than that, I think we went through all the matches now anyway. I don't think there's anything else to really touch on now that I'm thinking, other than that blue belt bitch, which I'm not going to touch. I think that's everything. I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic.
I'm curious.
Yeah, curious is probably a better word. I'm going to watch both nights, and I'm sure I'll enjoy them. But I don't think it's a WrestleMania that I'll be hammering to go back and watch. I don't think it will be.
Yeah,
usually, I watch WrestleMania, I let it digest for a day or two, and then I'll pick bits again that I'll watch, or I'll watch it again. Or it's always something I can go back and watch. Like this year, every year for Mania, I haven't really done it this year because it bums me out. But I usually go back and watch old WrestleManias, and I kind of get myself in the zone for Mania, because they're rewatchable, or at least matches are rewatchable. But this
one,
year,
I don't know.
I'm and I don't want to go back and watch other matches from Mania this year because I'm just imagine what it could have been. Imagine what that set could have been, because it probably would have been a giant fucking pirate ship.
Oh my god, Kairi Sane's entrance would have been so cool.
It makes me just so bummed every time I think about it, but I'm curious, I'm optimistic, I'm hopeful, and I hope we still get some cool WrestleMania fun. That's really all I'll say on it. Anything else you want to add?
Not really.
Cool,
know.
Awesome. What do I need to plug? Nothing? Oh, tomorrow, Josh plays. Well, actually, today, when this comes out. It'll be later in the afternoon for you guys in the States. It'll be early tomorrow morning for you guys in Australia. I'm doing a Josh Plays. I'm doing a big card. I had a lot of fun with that Evolution 2 show, and I got so many messages from people this was actually really good. Stay in your, do this. Drive down this lane. Go do it. Just really attack it. So I'm going to, and let's see how this works. So another Josh Plays. You can go to my Twitter for all the information on that. Make sure you check out everything on the Josh Robinson 00 Network. It's been up for 3 weeks now, and it's doing fairly well, which is wonderful. WrestleMania. I'm sure I'll talk to you again, Kev, over WrestleMania weekend. But just remember what could have been.
I'm sure we'll have some shit to say.
Anything you need to plug?
Not really.
Go to
No.
Kevin's Twitter. Although you haven't been really actively tweeting that much lately.
Okay,
I've
there's
noticed.
well, there's a couple of reasons. One, I've been busy. Two, I've been trying to stay off Twitter to avoid. I'm not sure if anyone's going to throw WrestleMania spoilers out there.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
Yeah, I've definitely been less active on Twitter. I mean, I want to get back, involved in the writing and with all the extra time I have now, be working from home, which basically means I'm like half working, half doing nothing.
Yeah.
I should be writing more and I should be getting more interactive. So I'm looking to get back on the saddle there. So stay tuned.
Yeah, I go back to work on Tuesday of next week. Back to the
Good luck.
wonderful world of retail. I've
Good
got my
luck.
face mask ready. I got my gloves ready. If anyone gets near me, I'm gonna punch them.
Dude, I don't know. I don't know if you saw this. It went viral though on TMZ. One of the local grocery stores here, a woman went in and coughed on everything.
I seen
They had to,
that.
yeah, that was my Garrity's. They had to throw out $35,000 worth of merchandise.
Holy shit. I seen that though, and I was like, what's they're acting so if you do that kind of stuff, they're like what's the word? They're like treating it as a low key form of terrorism. Because you're trying to infect people with
Yeah,
that virus.
they're throwing the book at this woman.
Yeah.
Which
I
she
seen
absolutely deserves. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's so
People
dumb.
that go around
That's
and
so
do that,
dumb.
like, what the fuck? I've been,
Yeah,
so out
crazy.
of this last 2 weeks that I've had off work, I just had this is just a random break that I've had planned for like 4 months for WrestleMania. I always take like the week or two off before WrestleMania because I'm doing so much of this kind of stuff and I just want to get into that WrestleMania zone. So I always kind of book my leave around this time. So it was just good timing to have a bit of a break from work. It's so bad working in retail at the moment. But I've been into that because obviously Australia's on lockdown. So we can only go out to get exercise, like a walk, or we can go to the grocery store or like the pharmacy or the doctor, something like that. So I think that's pretty much the same where you are as well, Kevin. Pretty much, anyway.
Yeah.
So I've been out to the supermarket twice in 2 weeks. I've been out of the house twice, and it's so weird because the way I walk to, because it's like a 10-minute walk, so I just walk, and just walking through the town, and it's like, oh man, there's nobody out.
Yeah,
It's
ghost town, I bet.
so weird. I live in a fairly small town, everybody, of about 8,000, 9,000 people, which in grand scheme of things is not that many. So walking down the kind of town and you're like, this is eerie quiet. And even if you go into the grocery shop, like Australia's on a social distancing rule of 2 people in gatherings. So families aren't coming into the store. It's just like people scattered around. There's markers.
Yeah,
on
you
where
just
can
send one
walk.
person to get stuff.
It's so weird. It's so weird. We're not even allowed to have people more than 2 in a home. Like they're enforcing that here. We can get jail time in this country if we're not following social distancing rules. Which I mean, it's tough, but at least they're enforcing it.
It's the only way that we're gonna get past all this.
Yeah.
So just listen to the goddamn rules. I mean, I also live in a small town, and the only time I'm seeing people anymore is at the grocery store. And
yep, that's how I am too. I'm like, oh, you still are living and breathing, and that's good. Because
there's still people out there. I dread going to the store though because there's so many people in there at all times right now that like it's claustrophobic, and I like even. Yeah, it's obviously you just don't want to be around people right now.
Nope.
And half the shit I go for is not there.
Yeah, I work there and I hate going in there. I'm kind of a little bit low-key dreading going back to work because I am a kind of a panicky person by nature. So just being around people is going to make me a little anxious. So if you see me on Twitter over the next week or so getting back into the zone of things, and I'm a little upset, it's just me venting. Don't worry about it. It's just me going, I'm struggling at work at the moment. I'm more than fine. I just get a little anxious. So if I need some animal pictures or some pictures of the Iconics at WrestleMania last year to cheer me up, then that's what y'all need to do, everybody. Tweet me them when you just think I need them, because I will. Other than that, on a better note, I know we've been kind of ending the show with saying wash your hands and social distance and listen to the medical professionals, the government, etc. Please continue to do so. I don't know about you guys in the States, but Australia is slowly flattening the curve. Slowly. We're getting less infections per day in each state, which is a good thing. So that is something to be like, okay, this is working if we just got to continue to do it. I hope you guys I don't know about the States. I know New York's pretty bad.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I genuinely don't even. I know what's going on in Pennsylvania, where I live, my state. But because it's like we don't have like a nationwide thing going on, every state's sort of doing their own thing, and so I'm not really like, oh yeah, New York's bad. There's you have some states like where Pennsylvania, for example, is completely like stay at home.
Yeah.
Non-essential businesses are shut down, shit like that. We are, I don't think we've started to see like a decrease in anything, but I think we're starting to flatten the curve. There are some states like Florida where they're not like they haven't really done. Obviously, they're doing like the PCs in Florida Phone Center, and they're shutting down. But like there's some churches that are still open. Some places aren't open.
Just no. It should just let's just kick this in the butt. You know what I mean? Like just shut everything that doesn't need to be open down.
The Florida governor declared, and I saw this on Twitter today. The Florida governor declared that churches are essential, and like I don't want to take the show into a religious bent, but that's so stupid.
Yeah, to me that is silly too. And that's not a religious thing. I don't think the religion is silly. It's just human lives. It comes before anything. That's how I see it anyway. But yeah, I hope everyone is practicing social distancing, all that kind of stuff. Make sure you follow Kevin on Twitter at Kevin C Wrestling. I'm sure he'll start tweeting again soon once Mania is over.
I'll definitely for Mania. I'll have some Twitter tweets to tweet.
Twitter tweets, yeah, nice.
Yeah, some tweets on Twitter.
Tweets on Twitter, yeah. And you can follow me, Josh Robinson 000. I post all kinds of shit. Today I got a post liked by Hayley Williams of Paramore, and that's
awesome. That is great. I love Hayley Williams. I know you were catching some flack in our group
Mags
DM. Yeah, Mags is a hater.
Don't be a hater, Mags. You're just being a hater. Because I got a like.
Mags is the belle of the player haters ball.
He can go in. I'll just go in. I'm gonna frame that tweet with her little like and. I love Paramore. Yeah. Everyone knows I love Paramore. So.
Oh yeah, that's very obvious. You like Paramore.
I was like,
I'm not like crazy about Paramore. I think Hayley Williams is one hell of a singer, though.
And her solo stuff is coming out, and I was like, hell yeah, Hayley, you do you. I got a like from Hayley. Everyone knows that no one knows this band, but everyone knows that I love Hands Like Houses. I got liked by them the other day. I'm in a good mood, yo. In a time where we're just kind of like on our own, that kind of stuff keeps my kind of ball rolling at this point. Renee Young liked my tweet the other day. It's like my three favorite things in the world, and my cat's getting over on Twitter. Everyone knows who Giddy is. Just follow me for some fun cat pictures, everybody, because I'm in the zone for it. Honestly,
yeah,
I'm just
man,
having a good time.
You're in the zone right now.
I'm just having a good time.
No one likes my tweets. Flash Morgan Webster used to like a lot of my tweets when I would tweet about him.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I love it. I don't know. I know it sounds like we're just fanboying, which we are a little bit, but at the same time, it's just nice sometimes. You're like, oh, they seen it. They don't have to reply. They don't have to do anything with it. They can forget about it as soon as they hit that like button, but it makes me feel nice for the day.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when Peyton Royce seen my gif of me doing the Iconics standing, and I was like, yes, Peyton Royce, you understand what's funny and what's nice, and I was doing your Iconics pose, and yes, it's just a good time. It can make your day, and I'm all for a good time. So, yeah, follow me on Twitter for all the cat pics and everything like that. Follow Kevin because he will be back on Twitter and posting away when he does his stuff as well, whether it be wrestling or I have noticed you've been posting on your shoot account.
My what?
Your shoot account, like your real Kevin.
Oh I call it my personal, but like I guess it's in a way my work account, but I tweet very non-work related things from there.
It's like a lot about sport and like just not wrestling. mainly.
Yeah, well, I'm like losing my mind right now because there's no sports. So I gotta tweet. I gotta tweet something. You know, I tweeted about the movie Hot Rod last night.
I seen
Classic film. Classic film.
Horrod's a good movie.
Oh, it might be the funniest movie I've ever seen.
Whoa. That is a hot take for another
I've watched
day.
it like a dozen times, and every time I think I laugh harder than the previous. I pick up new things like every time I watch it.
Damn. You go, girl.
What would you say the funniest movie you've ever seen is?
For me personally, the funniest movie I've ever seen, this is very nostalgic related feeling, but I think the funniest movie that I've ever seen is Drop Dead Fred.
What the hell is that?
Oh my god! You go smack yourself right in the face.
I have no
Dead
clue what
Fred
that
is a absolute classic banger. Okay, you need to go. I'm sure it's on Netflix in the States or some streaming service. Like, you've got Hulu and shit.
Yeah.
Drop Dead Fred. It came out in like 94, maybe 93.
I just looked it up.
It's fantastic. It's so
Drop
good.
Dead Fred.
It holds up.
Yep.
It holds up.
God, this just looks dumb.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's
Like Carrie Fisher's in it.
yeah, she's not like a huge part in it, but
Well, I'm just looking at the cast list.
it's hilarious. Oh my god, you should really go and watch Drop Dead Fred.
God, it's probably gonna suck.
I've watched it a lot. It's like that's probably one of the funniest movies. What's another funny movie that you know when you get put on the spot and you're like, what's a comedy? I don't know. It's just like I don't know. I'm just blanking on all the movies at the moment. Whatever, but that's just come to mind, and it's like that's hilarious, and I love that movie. It's a classic. All right,
Okay.
well, on that note, we don't know what's going to happen. So Wrestling Reverb, of course, will continue if wrestling just does cease. We'll do some more classic stuff, and we might do some episodes where we don't talk about wrestling.
Kevin and Josh Reverb.
It'll just be a different feel because we just don't know. We're in unprecedented times, as everyone keeps saying. I think that might be my most used words other than absolutely or absolute, because I use those words a lot. But we don't know. So next week we'll probably talk about WrestleMania, but after that, who knows what we'll talk about?
We might be talking about board games.
Ooh, I like a good board game. I'm not going to lie to you.
Me too. I love board games.
Me too. Sign me up for a night of board games anytime. I'm down.
All right.
Well, we can play over Skype. We'll get our
I was
own
just,
board.
we could play virtual board. It would be not easy, but we could definitely figure
I'm
it
sure
out.
there's online versions of these games. Oh,
Yeah,
there is. You can play Uno and shit.
Oh yeah, we've me and my friends from college. We've been doing this thing. I don't know. Have you heard of the Jackbox games?
Oh my god, yes, I have. They are the best.
So like Drawful, Trivia, Murder Party, Fibbage.
Oh yeah.
We've been playing over Zoom, where everyone calls in and someone shares their screen.
Yes. Oh my god, we could do that at some point.
That's a
Kevin.
ton of fun.
I like Quiplash. Quiplash is
Quiplash to go on.
Ooh.
Fibbage is funny. Drawful's a shit show.
So bad at drawing. Oh my god.
So am I. That's what makes it fun though.
Do you like the I can't think of the name of it, but it's where you defuse the bomb?
I don't think I ever played that one.
Oh, it's very like you have to be really trustworthy in your friend because otherwise you will kill them. Like you'll kill them because you got to follow instructions, but it's really hard to work together and try and defuse these bombs. Oh, it's so hard. It is so hard. But yeah, Jackbox is hilarious. Have you done the rapping one?
No.
The rap battle? Oh boy, you're a bunch of robots and you type in a rap and you got to rhyme words and then they rap and you have rap battles. Oh my god, it's so good. I have all the Jackbox games on my PlayStation, so.
Oh yeah, we only play a handful. We play Fibbage, we play Drawful, Trivia Murder Party.
I'm so bad at that.
Quiplash occasionally.
I love Quiplash. That's my favorite.
There's two more. There's one where it's like it makes brackets and you have to fill them out. Bracketology. And then I'm missing one, but it's like it gives you like a question and it's like you have to determine how many, it's like a survey. It's like how many the percentage of people that said this.
I'm trying to think of the name of it. I know which one. Have you done the internet one?
No.
There's an internet one. I can't think of the name of it, but I think it's on like Jackbox Party like 2 or 3. And you go in there and you're like blah 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 blah. And there's like it's like you got to name, like, there's all different categories within, like, the internet thing, but it's like, make a caption for this Instagram photo and make, you know, this for this, and it's really good. It's like, I don't know. I just like playing Jackbox because you can be utterly ridiculous on there. You just be so ridiculous with some answers with things. So yeah. Well, this spiraled. This outro spiraled.
Outlandish things.
Yeah, I love it. Sign me up for that. Yeah. So this outro has taken quite the turn, but I'm not mad. Because this is the kind of conversation you could be looking forward to in a few weeks. We don't know.
I wasn't even sure if we were still recording, honestly.
We are definitely still recording. On that note, everybody, I hope you enjoy WrestleMania. Try to live it up. Try to have as much fun as you can with WrestleMania. Until next week, we'll see you next Friday. Peace out.
Let the